Coming up on What's the Hoop, some huge performances across the state. Can you count to 50? We'll see if you know how. Plus, a couple of huge upsets in girls basketball. We'll break down who did it and how it happened. And it's the show you've all been waiting for. It's our South Dakota High School Dunk Contest. 4 judges, 4 dunkers. We're doing it live right here on What's the Hoops. And hello and welcome in. Darron, Wallace, and Jason Andera with you for another episode of What's the Hoops. And this is the big one, of course, the dunk contest show. We've been having all you kids from around the state of South Dakota send in your best dunk clips. We're going to rate them live for you right here in the studio.
That was fun, by the way, and we had good reaction. I got heard from a lot of people out there. And we had to whittle it down to 4. That was the toughest part.
Yeah, that was the hardest part. Thankfully, I finally got one. Someone actually sent me specifically some dunks. So shout out to you. And also, I'm just really excited. And I think I have some credentials to back up my dunk grading ability. We'll get into that a little bit later. But before we even get to the dunk contest, we had a really big week of high school hoops. And let's start with 3 different 50-point scorers. I mean, it's already impressive. We've seen 30-point games. We've talked about kids who've had 30 points. But we had 3 players score 50 last week.
It's ridiculous to me that a kid in a 32-minute game can go for 50 points. And usually we sprinkle them out. We see them maybe once or twice a season, sprinkled throughout. We had 3 of them in 1 week. And we started out with one who's a freshman from Wilmot. This is a gal we haven't heard much from this year, but I have a feeling we'll be hearing a lot more from her in the very near future in Addison Heinje.
Yeah, Addison Heinje, 50 points as a freshman. It's a school record over at Wilmot. She's just 1 point shy, she was just 1 point shy of the Class B individual record in a game of 51 held by 3 players. So, I mean, it's already impressive to score 50. And to do it as a freshman,
well,
we always talk about how young freshmen are and how sometimes they won't even impact the game, but to come in and score 50 points.
She lit it up. And of course, the thing that all 3 of these people have in common is they made their free throws, and they got to the free throw line a lot. That is obviously a great way to stop the clock and get to those points. So congratulations to Addison. Big game for her.
Yeah, that's why coaches emphasize make your free throws. We had another 50-point game. Aiden Lieber from Mitchell Christian, he's a senior, had 50 points on Tuesday against Coleman Egan in a loss, though. It's, crazy to think that you can score 50 and your team would lose. He's averaging 29.6 points per game this year, and it's the 4th time this year he's been over 40 points. He's been lighting it up all season long. Unfortunate they get the loss, but huge credit to him for scoring 50.
That's been the theme this year with Lieber, is he's quietly had these huge nights, and the team hasn't been on the stage because they're not winning a lot of these games, but he's taking everything he can possibly do and having his team compete with these other teams. So the senior having a fantastic season and capped it off with that 50-point night Tuesday.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that someone averaging nearly 30 a game.
Yeah, it's
kind of been gone quiet. We really haven't even talked about him much on our show, but after you score 50, we're going to know about it. So shout out to you, Aiden Lieber. We had Layne Cotton from Fulton area, had 52 points, so he's the high man of the week out of our 50-point scorers. 52 on 17 of 33 from the field, 14 of 17 from the free throw line. You mentioned making your free throws, and he did it over Langford.
Yeah, and this is a guy, he played, I think, 29 minutes in this game, came up with that 52-point game. He was just feeling it, and he did it from inside, outside, and like you said, the free throw line. He's had a couple of huge games so far this week, but Layne Cotton, he could be the X factor for Fulton as we see them with this crazy Class B situation. Guy goes off like that, you're able to beat a lot of different teams. So shout out to all 3 of those guys. And by the way, we also had some other 40-point games this week that we want to talk about. Jace Mosel of Coleman Egan in that game against against Mitchell Christian. He also played that game and had a good game, but he had his best game on Monday when he put up a 43-point game. He would normally be in the running for a game ball with something like that, but
you think 43, obviously, I got it, but then someone else comes out and scores 50.
And then in AA, where we see a lot less scoring, Braden Van Bakeren of Harrisburg went off for a 40-point game on Tuesday night against O'Gorman. You don't see 40-point games in AA basketball, so a shout out to Braden Van Bakeren. Huge night for him.
Yeah, a lot of the times in Double-A, you'll see final scores in the 40s. So
yeah, exactly.
For one player to go off for 40 points means you were doing a lot of heavy lifting. So huge shout out to all of these incredible players. I mean, to score 52 in 29 minutes is baffling me. I still can't quite wrap my head around that. But to even score 40, I mean, look, I never scored more than like 25 in a game.
Me neither.
You know, to score 40 is unbelievable. So huge shout out to you guys. Unfortunate. I'm not sure how many game balls or extra credits we can give out, but just consider this. Yeah, consider this my vote, my consideration for every single one of you for what you've done. We also had some big upsets in girls basketball. We'll look at Washington over previously unbeaten Mitchell.
Yeah, that was a big game for them. We always hear Jamie Parrish every year saying we need to be playing our best ball by February 14th, which happens to be Wednesday. Well, Tuesday night, they were playing the best ball they've played all season long. Wire to wire, went into the Corn Palace, had the lead the entire game. I got to give them credit. They are peaking at the right time. And Mitchell, they were off shooting. They usually have a little better production from Sawyer Stabner and some of their shooters from the outside. Didn't have that going. It just didn't have it. We knew they probably wouldn't be undefeated this year, but congratulations to them for the start that they've had. But huge win for Washington as we close in on the Double-A playoffs here in a couple weeks.
That's how basketball works out. When you shoot a lot of jump shots, they don't always go in, but huge credit to Washington on the big win. We also saw Ethan go down, losing to Freeman 57-52, and Ethan was a team that we were showing a lot of love to.
Yeah.
And then they dropped one, not a blemish on their record. A good win by Freeman, but yeah, just as we were talking about them, they dropped one.
They were the #1 team in Class B, hadn't lost a game in Class B all year. Freeman, on the other hand, just gets done getting beat by Wall, playing some really good basketball, but getting beat by some good teams. Huge confidence boost for them. So this is a team that's lost to Centerville and to Wall, haven't gotten that signature win, and then they go play Ethan and do this and win by 5. I mean, that's huge, and that puts Freeman on the map. 5 losses on the year. Sometimes those 3, 4, 5-loss teams we totally forget about, but we know, if you're peaking at this time of the year, this gives them that steam that they need to go into the playoffs.
Yeah, this is when you want to be playing your best basketball. Every coach will say it, and it's reigning true right now in South Dakota as these teams are starting to get right as they get ready for the playoffs. But staying in Mitchell and moving over to the boys, though, hasn't been a lot of losing going on in Mitchell this year.
And they're #1 team.
And the girls.
Yep.
And Mitchell Mitchell gets the win over Washington on Tuesday night. A big win for Mitchell away from, was it away from the Corn Palace?
Yeah. They switched spots, so we had two big games.
They haven't played a lot. Yep. They haven't played away from the Corn Palace much this year, but a big win for them.
They needed a win like this to kind of, prove that they do belong as the #1 team. And that game was back and forth. There was a period in the second half where Washington pulled close and was right there with them, but Mitchell kept taking timeouts at the right time. Ryker Kreutzfeldt, their head coach, has done a fantastic job of managing these group of mostly underclassmen. They've got a couple of seniors, but two of their best players, a junior and a sophomore, and Marcus Talley, the junior, went off. Had a big night for him. Hit big threes when they needed to. An all-around great game. And after the game, we were able to talk to head coach Ryker Kreutzfeldt and a couple of the Kernels on that #1 team in Double-A.
Played well. The Hoffman kid, he made a lot of shots. We felt like, there was parts of the game that we could control. We didn't do a very good job of in the first half, rebounding the ball. They played really hard, probably harder than us. And I thought we adjusted to that in the second half. We were okay with making some mistakes, and we moved on a little bit quicker in the second half, and we're able to, hold on.
This is a big win for us. I mean, now we're going to be feeling good going into our next ones. And we just had to weather the storm, I guess. They were hitting a lot of shots, and we just played through it.
I think we played very well as a team. They were making everything, but Parker Mandel stepped in, and he really shut down for us on defense. And, yeah, it was a slow start, but we got the dub.
There's so many things, and Double-A is completely wide open. We're lucky to have the record we have, but it could very easily look differently. It's going to be a battle every night, and it's games like this is what we need. We need games that we're tested and where it's intense, and we have to make plays down the stretch. So tonight was good for us. We got a little bit better tonight.
speaking of the Kernels and Colton Smith, it's time for the dunk show. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for this ever since we started teasing it. We've been asking you players all around the state to send us all your best dunk clips, and we've been able to compile them, and we've decided on 4 finalists. But before we get into who those 4 finalists are, we do have some honorable mentions, and I myself have some credentials.
You're an honorable mention.
It's sort of an honorable mention, we'll call it. I too was an athlete, and I actually do think that I'm qualified to be a judge on this dunk contest because
I grilled him. I had to grill him to make sure he was able to.
And I got some advice from a pretty well-known NBA player. So if you want to take a look at our honorable mentions and who I was able to learn from, take a look. It's pretty cool.
They're looking to oop Mitchell, and he'll throw it down.
All right, the wait is over. Let's get into these finalists. We've got 4 players from all around South Dakota. Bryon Laue from Castlewood, Mayen from Vernon Valley, Colton Smith from Mitchell, we just heard from him, and Alec Squires from Sioux Valley. So those are your 4 finalists. They're some of the best dunkers in the state of South Dakota. I think we got it right, and I'm excited to see what they compile.
First of all, just have to say, it was tough to whittle it down to these 4. These 4 are prolific, meaning they put up tons of dunks throughout the year. And of those dunks, though, they had some really special ones as well, and that's the ones we're going to show you today.
Yeah, we're going to start with Mr. Laue, Bryon Laue from Castlewood. We're going to get our live reaction, at least my live reaction, because I want this to be authentic. Let's take a look at what Mr. Laue is putting up.
Nice little
nice little lob. Okay, we like that. Some light to get it started. Ooh, the 2-hand flush in traffic. And another one. Okay. So, Bryon, I like what I see. I'm going to give you an 8, Mr. Laue. An 8 for you. Solid stuff. He's more of a shore dunker. He's not really, no windmills, nothing crazy. No. Not that we have to. I mean, it's already impressive.
He's a power dunker. He's a prolific dunker.
Yes, power dunker.
And he gets that behind the back pass that he received was pretty cool. But it's not just our votes that count here, Darron. We've got a couple helpers.
Yeah, we've got our good friends, Joey Beltram and Josh Brooks. Let's send it over to them. What do you guys think? So it's a 33 for my man, Bryon Laue. Thank you to Josh and Joey for your input. And Jandy, we were on the same page there, so let's see if we can stick that way as we move on to our next contestant, Mr. Squires from Sioux Valley. Alec, what do you got for us? Oh, wow, in traffic. I see his teammate with the head taps. Oh, wow.
From beyond the 3, and this was pretty special.
Oh, okay. Wow. I like that. I like what I'm seeing, Alec Squires. All right, we are... Okay, I got it. You ready?
Ready.
All right, let's do it. Alec Squires, you get a 10. Let's go, 2 10s.
10s
from
us.
both of us. This isn't planned, by the way. We aren't agreeing on the last one. We're not, planning this beforehand. This is all live reaction. So 2 10s from me and Jandy from Mr. Squires. We'll send it over to our rushing judges. What do you guys think, Joey and Josh?
Oh, Josh.
A
little tough.
Tough critic. Only a 7? I was impressed. That was, not only the dunks, but the lobs. Off the backboard.
You know what? Everybody's entitled to their opinion. First of all, I have to say, anytime you watch a Sioux Valley game, you know that the dunks are going to be on the highlight reel. For years and years they have. And Alec Squires won the team dunk contest last year and this year. So You got to be special to be able to do that.
Yeah, he's clearly well-versed in dunkonomics, as we'll say.
36.
So a 36 for Alex Squires, now our new leader in the clubhouse. We still got 2 more to go. Let's move on over to that next one, Mr. Mach Mayen from Brandon Valley. I'm excited because I've heard a lot of good things about him from Jandy, so let's give him a look.
Okay, this was Thunder Basin. Ooh, over a dude.
Watch your head. Watch your head.
Goes
Ooh, with the
lefty.
left hand. Does he shoot lefty?
I think he's ambidextrous.
Yeah, because he's dunking with the left like he's a natural. Ooh, whoa, watch your head.
He did not stick the landing.
Yeah, didn't stick the landing there. But that first one, look at that. On a defender, that's pretty good stuff.
That's good stuff.
Let's see what we're going to give him. I've got my score. You got your score? Good. All right, here we go. Mach Mayen, you get. Okay, 2 nines.
We agree again.
We agree again.
Okay.
So 2 nines, again, unplanned. This is all live. I'm seeing it all for the first time. Impressive stuff. I would say the only thing that was holding you back, Mac, was, they were throwing lobs off the backboard to Alex Squires. So
get your teammates
you
involved.
got to get your teammates on the same page. Like, hey, look, throw it up there. I'm going to catch it. Let's send it over to our Russian judges again. Joey and Josh, what do we think about Mr. Mayen? All right, so we got a 10 and an 8. Okay, Josh a tough critic.
It is.
An 8 for that. So a 36 for Mr. Mayen. So now we have a tie for the top spot in our dunk contest. So it's all up to Colton Smith. You have to tie or be better than a 36 if you want to win. I heard a lot of good things about Colton Smith, so I'm excited to see what he's about to pull off.
I got to say, this guy is just a sophomore too, and he's already jumping out of the gym, so I can't wait to see what he's got up his sleeve. Let's take a look.
Let's see. Ooh, off the lob, hanging with one hand. Nasty. Here we go. What do we got? Hey,
He cups it a little bit.
Yeah, a little cup action. Okay, here we go. What do we got? Oh, the reverse!
Yeah, you got to like that.
Wow, okay, I see you with the reverse. All right, Mr. Smith. That was impressive. What does Kenny Smith say? Let's go home! Let's go home!
He's
Give
going
him a
10.
An 8!
I'm going to give him an 8. I tell you what,
Really?
and he's an open court on all 3 of them, and he's got a little extra showboaty on the end of those to try to get more points. But hey, I love that last one he had.
Yeah, that last one.
I love
the
that
last one gave the edge to Smith for me. That was really impressive. The reverse, and he had a guy trailing him. I know he wasn't all alone on that one, so he kind of felt the defender. That's a really good game. That was like a Kobe Bryant-esque dunk. Like if you ever seen that highlight. Joey and Josh, what do you guys think? Josh has been a tough critic.
Josh likes it.
Josh liked this one. He gave it a 10. Let's go. A 10 from the Russian
Josh
judge.
is from
Josh.
Mitchell.
Oh, favoritism. Okay.
But you know what? That was just enough to give him the lead.
Just enough to get the job done. 37 for you, Mr. Colton Smith. So, Colton Smith is the winner of the 2024 South Dakota High School Basketball Dunk Contest. Really, really tough decision. But nonetheless, these are the results. And the results say Colton Smith is the best dunker in South Dakota High School this year.
We talked to Colton on Tuesday after the game about what his favorite dunk of the year was. He didn't know he was the winner at this point, but let's hear what he said about his favorite dunk of the year.
Dunk to perform if you have a wide open lane.
In game or just practicing?
Just both, I guess.
Practicing, I'm gonna have to say, is a 360 windmill. In game is probably a 360 one-handed.
Congratulations, Mr. Smith. You are our winner. I want to give a shout out to Grant Fitz, who was the only one to send me any clips to me specifically. Everyone else wants to show love to Jandy, but Grant showed love to me. You're the man, Grant. You're the winner in my book. You're the real MVP.
You are definitely worth an honorable mention and some extra credit.
So that does it for our dunk contest. But before we get out of your guys' hair, let's take a look at the big games coming up.
We're whittling down on big games because
Dakota.
some of these teams are done with their regular season.
Right.
Some are just have a couple left. So maybe not as many teams that are ranked playing against each other in these next week, but still some very important games.
Yep, we'll start with Thursday. For the girls, Sisseton and Florence Henry. And for the boys, Washington at Roosevelt and Viborg Hurley at Howard.
3 really important games. Sisseton, of course, just the 1 loss so far this year. They want to stay at the top of the seed points as long as they can. win, if they can make it to the state tournament, this game will kind of decide whether they stay in that top spot. A really tough game against Florence Henry. Talking about Washington and Roosevelt, Washington's dropped like 4 in a row now after that winning streak. Even though they played really, really good against Mitchell on Tuesday night, they're going to have to carry that over and get a W as they take on their cross-city rivals in Roosevelt. And then Viborg, Hurley, and Howard. And Howard, not a ranked team, not getting a lot of love, getting a few votes, but they've been on a tear lately. And I think Viborg Hurley has to be very careful that they're losing ways. You know, they've been up and down a little bit these last couple months. We'll see if they can kind of get back on track with a quality win over a really good Howard team.
Yeah, with the dwindling seed points on the table
not
for
much
these
left
teams,
to take.
You got to get all the points you can get at this juncture because it's not too many games left for a lot of these teams. Then not much action on Saturday, so we'll skip ahead to Tuesday where we've got one boys game, one girls game on the docket that
Same
you
schools.
should really be looking at. Brandon Valley at Mitchell for the girls, and Mitchell at Brandon Valley for the boys. A little mirror scheduling action, shades of the Summit League.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't matter which gym you go to. If you're at the Corn Palace or if you're at Brandon Valley High School, you're going to see a really good game. And I think for the girls, Mitchell's got a tough stretch here. They got Pierre coming up on Friday. They've got Brandon Valley again next Tuesday. They need to get back on track after that first loss of the year and show that they can still play. And then for the Mitchell boys, another road game, a tough one against the hottest team in AA right now. This could be a preview of, you know, the two favorites coming into the state tournament. Not saying they'll maybe play each other because we know how crazy AA is going to be, but they might be the two favorites coming into the AA tournament.
Yeah, possibly a championship preview, if you will. Could be very much so. The South Dakota high school season, it's been heating up, and now it's starting to cool down. It's starting to cool down.
Yeah, you're right.
It's starting to cool down with just only a few games left for the regular season as we finish it out. But then
it gets hot.
Get piping, steaming hot as we dip into the end of February and the beginning of March as all these teams start to play for their one shining moment for their championship. All the marbles on the line. I can't wait.
I can't either. We're going to get into the really good stuff here in the next couple shows when we start talking playoffs.
Yeah, that'll do it for this edition of What's the Hoops, the dunk contest edition. Congratulations once again to Colton Smith from Mitchell. That was really impressive stuff, but all you dunkers, keep doing your thing. It's already really tough to dunk in high school. Not a lot of guys do it, so if you're doing it, you're 1%. Not too many guys get to do that. That'll do it for this episode. Thank you for watching. For Darron, Wallace, and Jason Andera, we will catch you guys next time.